Hey, y'all. Welcome. I was headed out to sit on the porch and talk to y'all for a little while today, and the wind is blowing so hard that I don't think you would have been able to hear anything I was saying. I would have had to hold the camera still, and the wind is blowing really hard outside right now. It's not raining. We have had a ton of rain for the last few days, and the rain has stopped and the sun is out, but the wind is still blowing really hard. So we brought our back porch chat inside. If you're new to these videos, they are very unedited, very real and raw, and that's on purpose. I want you to feel like you're sitting here with me and we're just friends hanging out for a little while. Here on this channel, our typical content is day in the life type content. We are a family of 7 living in a very small town in Alabama. We live in a double wide mobile home on a little 1-acre homestead. We do a lot on a little bit of land and share all of that here with you. We'd love to have you as part of our family. These back porch chats are a little bit different. Again, bringing this one inside today so you can actually hear what I'm saying. We can actually talk. And I've been doing these for about a year now, and they've really blessed my heart. I hope they've blessed some of you as well. If you've missed any of them, I'll put the playlist down in the description box for you, and you can go check out some other videos. I had something different on my mind to talk about with you today. All week I had thought that this conversation would go in a different direction. And then this morning I was listening to some music and this song popped up that I had not heard in a while. I knew that I liked the song. And so when I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, I want to listen to that. And almost instantly, God started using it to speak into my life and convict me in some areas of my life. Sometimes when I hear something, see something, read something, and I feel God working in me, I know that it's for me. Sometimes I see something, hear something, read something, and I feel like I'm supposed to share it with you. And sometimes it's a mixture of both. And that's certainly how I felt this morning. I felt God working in my life, and then I felt Him saying, and now go share it. Somebody else needs to hear it. So here we are. The song, and I'll put it down in the description box, and I would encourage you to go and listen to it. It's Joey Feek singing In the Time That You Gave Me. In the Time That He Gave Me. I'd have to look at the title to get it exactly right. But it says, did I do all I could do in the time that you gave me? And as I listened to the words of that song this morning, I started thinking about how there are people, I have lost people in my life of all different ages, from people who were very young to people who were elderly and everywhere in between. People who saw death coming and people who did not. And as I think about that, I think about how at the end of our life, when we look back on the life we lived, we want to be able to say it was a life well spent. The song says, when the hourglass runs out, I will be content in knowing that I lived a life well spent. When the hourglass runs out, it won't even faze me if I did all I could do in the time that you gave me. What if we're sitting at the end of our life right now? I hope and I pray that I have many years ahead of me. But if I was sitting at the end of my life right now looking back, would I say I lived a life well spent? Or are there things that I would change? And if there's things I would change, then that's what I need to do, and I need to do it right now. Because right now, I'm living in the life that I'm going to look back on. I have been guilty of saying, I don't have the time to do XYZ, whatever it is. I don't have the time to do it. But the reality of it is, I do. I'm just not prioritizing it. So looking at the things that I'm giving my time to, are they more important than these things that I'm saying I don't have the time for? Sometimes they're not. I want to live a life that's a life of love and service, doing things I enjoy. I feel like God gives us these passions so that we can do things that make us happy. What am I prioritizing? And if God is calling me to something, and y'all, I have felt it in my life. If God is calling me to something and I'm saying I just don't have the time right now, what am I giving that time to? What am I giving the time to? I want to look back on my life and say, I loved well. I raised my family well. I pointed people to Jesus. I let people see Jesus in the way that I lived. I did things I enjoyed. I have found myself too saying, this must just be how it is. This is just how I am when it comes to fear or anxiety or resentment, the way I react. It's just who I am. It's just how it is. But if it's not, God's not calling us to anxiety, to stress, to resentment, to anger, to fear. So if I'm feeling those ways, then I need to change something. And that's what I'm going to do, because I don't want to look back on a life of anxiety or fear, worry, resentment, anger. I don't want to look back on that. Now is when I can change it. Whatever you want to see when you look back on your life, now is the time to do it. You are living that life right now. Make the change. If you're feeling called to something, stop saying you don't have the time for it. Reprioritize. Look where you're spending your time and make some adjustments. Did I do all I could do in the time that He gave me? And the song itself says that sometimes I may veer off the road, but at the end of the day and at the end of my life, did I do all I could do in the time that He gave me? Now is the time. Now is the time to make the change. Now is the time to reprioritize. Now is the time to listen. And it could look different for everybody. I don't know what God is calling you to that you're saying you don't have the time for. Is it serving in your church? Is it reading your Bible? Is it homeschooling your kids? Is it keeping a tidy home? Is it cooking dinner every night? What is it that you're saying you don't have the time for? Where could you let go of something that's not as important to make the time for what God's calling you to? And that was what I wanted to leave with you today. I listened to that song this morning. Again, I'll put it down in the description box for you. But as I listened to it, and I went back and I listened to it again, y'all, you can probably tell I was in tears and felt conviction to make some changes. And that's what's going to happen. I'm going to make some changes because I'm living the life right now that I'm going to look back on one day. And I want to be able to say, I did all I could do in the time that you gave me. There you have it, my friends. When I heard that this morning, I felt God using that in my life and felt like He was saying someone else needed to hear it as well. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining me for a back porch chat inside on a very windy day, y'all. I mean, it's blowing. You can probably still hear it sitting here by this window, but the sun is shining. And for that, I am so grateful. All right, y'all. I will see you in the next one. Bye.